Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. I ain't even wasting no time. Do it look like I came here to ask? Do it look like I came here to ask? Hell no. I came here to tell. I ain't came here to ask nothing. I came here to tell you that these two dudes on my right and on my left, they're guests. And guess what? If you're attaching your giddy up to their truck, then you're a guest too. We'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the Scoreboard Keepers. You're around here, we don't keep the seats, we keep the score. So if you want to get on the board, make your point. If it makes sense, we'll add it to the board. If it don't, we won't. Scoreboard Keepers.
Let me talk to all my FBA out there, okay? Let me talk to everybody. See, every time we come on here, right, we tell y'all, listen, we love all people. But guess what? Every now and then, you got to talk your shit. Every now and then, you got to talk your shit. And you got to let people know exactly what time it is. Because, see, people getting comfortable out here. Just telling lies, and now all of a sudden you want to claim some shit that don't belong to you. You want to claim some shit that don't belong to you, and you ain't even willing to do the research. That tells me that you don't really want to know. You don't really want to find out because you commandeering some shit that don't belong to you. You couldn't be happy where you were. So you said, nah, this part of our shit. It's like you coming in and you bogarting. Nah, hell no. This where I come in at. So we not asking. I'm telling you that hip hop, whatever you call it, whatever you coined it to be, is FBA culture. Because now I'm on my FBA now. Because see, we thought this shit was common knowledge. We didn't think that we had to come out here and now talk our shit. You ain't contribute nothing to this culture. We ain't never envied no other culture for nothing. Food, shit, we like to eat. Yeah, talk. It's time to talk our shit. Yeah, we like to eat. But I came here to teach today the real truth. Yeah, we may like the food here now and then. And a few females, but we ain't never envy no culture like that. We ain't never envy no culture like other cultures envy FBA. And now it's looking like jealousy. I never saw it before. I never expected this. I never knew that this shit was lying under the surface, where the stories had to be told. I didn't know people. It's been people that I've listened to for over 20 years that I found out didn't know they left from their right when it came to this topic. They ain't know what was going on. Listen, I'm not even kidding you. From the shit that I've been hearing has been crazy. So we're going to get right to it. We ain't even going to waste your time. I'm going to tell you right now, we coming out blazing. If you got a wig on, glue it down. If you got a toupee on, you might want to strap it down, because I'm telling you, we're going to blow your damn doors off. We're going to get right to it. We ain't even going to play no games. What we got up first? We left off with the Renaissance, right? We left off with the Renaissance. Didn't we leave off with the Harlem Renaissance? And we left off telling you about the first time that this culture touched down, that it touched down in where? Harlem, New York. Harlem, New York. That's what we told you, right? That's what we told you. We told you that it was Harlem, New York. That's what we told you. We told you how the migration was happening from the South all the way up to Harlem, New York, where it was just this renaissance going on with African Americans everywhere. African Americans was everywhere, and they was doing the most. And from that migration that was going on down south, they were coming from everywhere. They were coming from everywhere. When I say everywhere, I'm telling you they was coming from everywhere. South Carolina, Mississippi, Macon, Georgia, North Carolina, Florida, Louisiana. They were coming from everywhere. Virginia, Arkansas. They was coming from everywhere. And guess what? They was flocking to the only commercial place that could hold them, which was what? New York City. As I told y'all, stop playing with us with this history thing. It's too many of us out here still that know our history. You didn't think that the uncles was talking to us and the grandpops and all of that and telling us what was going on? You embarrassing yourself out here telling somebody another story about some 50-50 shit when we know better. You can't even do this music without no soul. You can't dress it without no flavor. You got to have a little bit of salt up in there. So why are we even talking about this? It looks crazy. We can't never look at you the same again. We can never look at you the same again now that you done tried some bogus nonsense like this. It's ridiculous. As you can see on the board, as I told y'all, that the culture touched down in Harlem. I told y'all that the culture, and I keep saying that word for a reason. I keep telling y'all it's the culture because it is a difference. And if you look on this name, somebody's coming to New York City. Oh yeah, somebody coming. It's a bad boy coming to New York City, for damn sure. But if you look, right, what's so crazy is on this list right here, they don't got Angie Stone. And she's from down there, okay? She's from the Carolinas. Angie Stone, do your research on her and where she plays at in this musical thing you call hip hop. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? We got some people running around here that's claiming that the 80s. The 80s. They telling people that this culture started in the 80s just because that was the first time they came into contact with it. Soul hit them in the head with a sledgehammer in the 80s. Here come James Brown all the way to Harlem, recording his album in the Apollo. And they think that nobody. I got a grandma. Every day I came home from school, all I heard was the big payback. And on Friday, Saturday nights in there, the music was up, the door was open, and it was James Brown. You talking to somebody that lived this shit. Are you kidding me? We talking about the godfather of soul, the most influential and most sampled man in this thing that you coined as hip hop. Get the hell out of here. Y'all, Bambaataa and Kool Herc are modern day pirates. Okay? Them are called them pirates. Because y'all ain't did nothing but cause a whole bunch of confusion out here because you went and jumped on a train that was carrying way too many passengers and you tried to be the damn conductor. And you're not. Look at these people coming from North Carolina. Look at this pedigree. Nina Simone, John Coltrane, Roberta Flack, Thelonious Monk, Ben E. King, Maceo Parker, Etta Baker, Maya Angelou, What? Not Maya. Are you what? Maya Angelou? Ben Vereen, George Clinton, and the legendary Disco King Mario. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The legendary Disco King Mario is coming to New York City. Yeah. Yeah. Look at this pedigree. Coming from North Carolina, you think he got a little bit of knowledge about what type of music and what type of things are going on in the music industry? You think he got a little bit of something? You think somebody taught him a little bit of something? Look at him. Look at him. You think somebody taught him a little something about the music? That he was coming there and he's the one that had the equipment? That Bambaataa was playing off of? In a place where Kool Herc couldn't come and play without permission from him and Bam. Kool Herc couldn't even come over there without permission, or he was gonna get his stuff took, whatever he had. But guess what? Y'all thought y'all was gonna get that information tonight, huh? Nope. Surprise. Surprise. Oh no. But y'all see the pedigree, right? Y'all see this? We left off, right? We wanted to show y'all a little bit of the pedigree that's on its way to New York City. We ain't come to talk. We ain't come to ask no damn question. We ain't come to ask for no permission. We came to tell you, sit your ass down, shut up, and pay attention. Because class is in session. That's what's in session. We told y'all that the Lindy Hoppers is huge in this thing that you call hip hop. We call it the culture over here. Okay? We call it the culture. Okay? That's what we call it. We tell you how the Lindy Hoppers play a huge role in it. So we showed y'all Miss Alice Barker, right? And you'll be surprised that when we put her out there, right? Because we wanted to show that females were involved. And the first thing somebody did was they looked at her and said, oh no, she mulatto. That's a whole story for another conversation. We'll talk about that on Friday. So what we did was in the background, we had the man that really named this shit, right? We had him in the back, tucked in the back somewhere. The man that really named this thing and coined this thing. Mr. Shorty, George Snowden. And we said why he did it, right? We told y'all that in 1927, Charles Lindbergh was hanging around in New York, ready to do the Lindy Hop across the Atlantic Ocean, right, to Paris. Okay, and he probably was hanging around Harlem a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it was, this was a big deal. This was a big deal. He was doing something that had never been done before. Okay? He was in a plane for over 30 hours. And what he did would eventually help these routes that people would take even in the ocean. So he was going from New York to Paris. So you got to think of how big this is at that time. And this is like the Guinness Book of World Record type talk. Everybody in the world was watching and paying attention to this. So when Mr. Snowden was in a dance marathon contest, they asked him what was he doing because they didn't know what the hell he was doing. He was running around there, flipping around, doing acrobatics out the wazoo. And they didn't know what he was doing. They said, yo, what's that? He said, oh, this is the Lindy Hop. And right then and there, in this culture, he put Charles Lindbergh on fly. He just stamped you, sir. So you went from you didn't just go from hopping across the Atlantic Ocean. You are now inside of the Harlem Renaissance culture. And how do I know that? How do I know you're in the culture? Because, see, when we were running around here wearing goggles and wearing aviator things, it was because of this man right here. Yeah, class is in session, damn it. Pay attention if you don't know your hip-hop history. So-called. Talking about some 50-50. 50-50 what? Raffle tickets? It ain't no 50-50 nothing. These are the things that you ain't heard nowhere else. Because this is what we give you over here. We're going to get to it. And we got some more. Okay? Over on the left, you have Charles Lindbergh. Over on the right, you have Lee from Beach Street. Now, whether he knew or not, the aviator gear was already in full effect. The aviator gear was already in full effect. He probably didn't even know why he was wearing it. And if he didn't, or maybe he did. But, ladies and gentlemen, you might want to grab yourself a drink. Because we grade drop a sledgehammer. Told you all we do is we chop trees over here. Damn it, and we ain't apologetic about it. Ain't no 50-50. Play your position. The Lindy Hop dance was named after Charles Lindbergh. Period. People didn't even know it. They didn't know what to say in the comments when they found out. They tried to make joke and mockery about it like it wasn't true. They didn't know why. They tried to, because that was something that they hadn't heard before. So they tried to come, I have no words for this and all of this nonsense. Nothing back. Because you can't change this history. You know why? Because we love all people, but we got to call it like we said, because it's attached to the Caucasian man. Which I've been telling y'all, this was the only people we was around until some went to New York City and met some people from some other cultures. We weren't around anybody else when this culture started, except the white man. And they won't mention it when he's involved because people from other cultures won't dare touch the history of the Caucasian man. They won't dare. They'll try to alter some other cultures, but they won't dare touch this because it's attached to a Caucasian. And this is something that you cannot erase. Yeah, Charles Lindbergh is the reason why aviator gear is worn in the so-called quote unquote what you call hip hop culture, which you know nothing about, apparently. Y'all ready? Because it's going to get deep. Y'all sure y'all ready? I told y'all, I know y'all sitting by the screen and y'all know something's coming. Y'all know it is. You're sitting on the edge of your seat. You damn right. Because we great show y'all something. As you can see up here, you see the Disco King Mario. He got his fly aviator on. Okay. You see the men in their bombers over here, and they got their aviators on. Okay, Greg, go put in some work. You see Disco King Mario down here with his pistol out. Of course, you see Bambaataa. We don't know what he's wearing, okay? But he looks to be learning or in school or in session, whatever. You see 50. You see Biggie, okay? And like I said, Hell Rel keeps an Averex. He always got a leather on, man. Something fly. Hell Rel, straight out of Harlem. Listen, okay? We told y'all, on May 20th, 21st in 1927, they talk about how Charles Lindbergh, what he did and how he did this amazing thing of making it to Paris and being in the plane for 33 hours and so on and so forth. So they took some things and they saved it. His ashtrays and wristbands and certain things. Well, guess what? They also put his jackets up for display. Okay. And if you look inside of his jacket, he was wearing Avrex. Okay. These jackets look familiar to you? Look like bombers, the leather bombers. Okay. This is why we wore them things. Okay. I had them. Okay. I'm just telling you. Maybe you didn't know. You just thought it was a fad, thought it was something we was doing. This is why I tell you that these people don't know us. They don't take African American studies. They know nothing about the culture. They just think that we're doing things just to be doing it with no thought behind it. That's what it is. And then they come in and get in here and jump in like double dutch, and they just go along for the ride. And then all of a sudden, somebody trying to take your damn car. No. Pull that shit over. Get out. Pull it over. Pull the car over. Get out. You got to walk now. This is Avrex. As you can see, these are Charles Lindbergh's coats. Okay? And as you can see, back here, who was wearing it. And then you come up here, and as you can see, the only reason we was wearing them is because the FBA gentleman, Mr. George Snowden, coined it the Lindy Hip Hop. Okay? The Lindy Hop. And he put Mr. Lindbergh on fly within our community. Within our community. He was looked at as hey, he's a big deal. Because it would, and also when he named it that, it was also in defiance to what was going on around him. Being as though that the African Americans wasn't being accepted everywhere. They wanted everybody in the world to know that they was doing great things too. And what was they doing? Inventing the swing, inventing the Charleston, inventing the black bottom, inventing the Lindy Hop, inventing the snake hips. They was doing all of that right under people's nose. Right under people's nose. They were doing all these great things, and they wanted everybody to know, like, yo, we took Charles Lindbergh's name and turned it into a dance. Y'all don't know what's going on. Y'all just out here just talking. But the bulldozers out. That's what we do over here on the Scoreboard Keepers. And then we had one guy that didn't know who FBA was. Who's FBA? A bunch of broke motherfuckers. A bunch of broke. But look who's in Avrex. Look who's in the bombers. And you don't know the culture. You don't know the culture. Or you would have never had that on your back. You would have never had that on your back if you knew how that got started and why. You just thought it was a thing. Or you would have known exactly who FBA was, and you would have known who Shorty George was. This is how you know that it didn't start. The culture didn't start where they thought it came. This is why you know what Afrika Bambaataa and Kool Herc is talking about is bullshit. That's how. Because, and I'm going to show you why. It gets worse, y'all. It gets worse. This is how you get yourself in a conundrum of historians and scholars when it come down to really getting to the information if we have to. We didn't think that we would have to ever talk about this. But since you picked up in the 80s, of course you wouldn't know nothing about an Avrex coat. That Avrex coat didn't start no damn 80s. And it damn sure didn't start in the 90s. This shit is hilarious. Hey, New York FBA, y'all need to stand 10 toes down on this information because we don't need to be coming out here and be telling people this. I'm holding New York FBA accountable to protect our elders, man. When we need information, we ain't got to go to nobody. We go to our elders. That's what we've always done. Just because they don't know the history, that's on them. We rolling out, pull the car over, get out. Period. Watch this, y'all. Y'all see these breakdancers here? Y'all see these breakdancers here? Oh, yeah. We getting to it tonight. You see these breakdancers here? Watch this, y'all. You see these aviator jackets they have on? We already know who. You see this bomber jacket he has on? Okay, we're going to strip them. Y'all ready for it? They're going to damn near be ass naked by the time we get to the end of this. Take a good look. Aviator jackets, Adidas, Bomber, Pumas, Adidas, Lee jeans, and Kango hats. Pay attention, ladies and gentlemen. Pay attention very closely. I'm going to name it one more time. To the left, Kango hats, Lee jeans, Pumas, and Adidas. Bomber jackets, Adidas, another bomber, sheepskins. Sheepskins are aviators. Okay? Watch this, y'all. Those Pumas that they have on, the only reason that we wore those Pumas was because Walt Clyde Frazier was the first player to sign a sneaker deal. And he did it with Pumas. Those Pumas that they have on their feet are called Clyde Suedes. You can take off the shoes. That's FBA culture. On the right, y'all all know that Walt Clyde Frazier played for the Knicks, right? Okay. So then you know why this sneaker was so big in the city. On the right, you have one man that was the first NBA player to sign a sneaker deal. And on the right, you have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor, formerly known as. He was the first one to have a signature shoe. Guess what it was? Guess what a signature shoe was? For those out there that my basketball people, because you know we do sports, hip hop, and hot topics, right? Well, Mr. Lou Alcindor, his signature shoe was shell toe Adidas. Stop playing with the ref on this history stuff. Stop it. If it comes across here, you're going to get bulldozed. You're going to get bulldozed. Okay? So now, the sneakers are gone. You ain't got nothing on your feet now. The Pumas is gone, Adidas is gone, because we know that it's foundational Black American. Did I tell you we stripping them? We stripping the break dancers. We stripping the break dancers. If you're 80s break dancers and you got this on, this is what FBA is. They had Kangos on, right? Well, we all know who started this. We all know who started this. It's the Kango Kid from UTFO. Baby, I know I can sing, rap, dance in just one show. Kango, sophisticator. Far as I know, ain't nobody greater from beginning to end to beginning. Man, stop playing with me. I'm a hip hop baby. I'm the culture. I'm the culture. It's in my DNA. It's in my DNA. It's my DNA makeup. I ain't gotta act it. I ain't gotta be walking around here and talking it. I ain't gotta put on a do-rag and I ain't got no damn waves. I ain't gotta do that. I ain't gotta wear saggy jeans. I ain't gotta do none of the mascot stuff. It's just in me. So now the shoes is off and the hats is gone. The shoes is gone. And now you done lost the damn hat. What's next? Lee jeans. If it ain't for LL Cool J and Run DMC, we're not wearing no Lee jeans. And guess what? Guess what? Adidas signed a contract with Run DMC on the shell toes as well. And guess what? The owner of Puma and the owner of Adidas were brothers. They were in business together and then they split off. One made Adidas and the other had Puma. And then Run DMC made a song called My Adidas. Walked all over Coliseum floors. You ain't no shoes, no hat, no pants, and no windbreaker. No Adidas windbreaker. Because it's all because of FBA that you're wearing it. That you wore it. This is just out of control. It really is out of control. Because what we did is we just stripped this man's breakers. We just showed that it's FBA culture. So now we got to talk about him. If you look down here in the lower right, see, this was prior to going downtown. This was prior to trying to take the culture downtown without the proper permission from the proper people. Right? The culture wasn't supposed to go downtown with you. It wasn't supposed to go down there. Because as you can see, what happened after you went downtown. See, down here in the lower left, you would look like you was in Sound Views. You was somewhere in the Bronx, right? You know, you look like you was spading it out and all that. But then something happened. And you start dressing funny. You started doing things. Then you started talking Pan-Africanism, and then you started talking this Kemetic science at the same time. That don't match. That don't go together. So something happened when you went downtown, because look what you got into. Because you wanted to go downtown. I got a question for Kool Herc. Where was he at when you went downtown? Well, I mean, you took it downtown. They invited you downtown, and you went downtown. With Bowie and Basquiat and all of them, right? Looking for opportunity, maybe. You just down there. You the representative. You the representative for the culture now. While the real culture is going through some problems, they was locked up, doing time. The real representatives that was doing time and doing things the right way, they was going through some things. And then you peeled off. And when you peeled off, you left looking like this, came back looking like the rest of these photos. You left looking like the bottom left, and then you came back like this. How was that? How'd that happen? Hey, Herc, when y'all went downtown, right? Why the hell y'all leave one of your elements behind? How the hell you go downtown without an MC? Oh, y'all forgot about Kool Rock, huh? Y'all just went down there with your DJ equipment. Y'all went downtown with the DJ equipment. How you go downtown without your MC? That's the $1 million question. Y'all can leave the answers down in the comments. Y'all went downtown and didn't take Kool Rock. Yet you out here telling everybody one of the elements of the culture is MCing. Well, where the hell was your MC when you went down there? Crazy. Y'all ain't create nothing but drama. That's what y'all created. You didn't create my culture. Y'all created drama. That's what y'all did. That's why everybody's out here, looking for the truth. And some been so brainwashed that they believe that this thing started in the 80s. This was downtown, y'all. He was invited to the Mud Club. And drink. That's the Mud Club, y'all. You see the culture there? Oh, yeah. Blow your screen up. Look real good. Real good. That's the Mud Club. That's downtown. You got invited downtown to the Mud Club. Because at this point in time, you went to the Mud Club with no MC. Okay? You down there and you going electro. You're on your way to electro. That's where you're going. You're in the Mud Club. That's the Mud Club, y'all. MUDD. The Mud Club. That's where he went. I declare to you that he ain't create nothing in my culture. He didn't take them spades down there with him. And we all know Miss Alice Barker, which I was telling y'all of the Lindy Hoppers. This is when I got the little comment said, "Oh, she must be mulatto" and all of this. I said, cut it out. But she was a Lindy Hopper, y'all. Harlem Renaissance from Louisiana, ended up in He ended up in New York, in Brooklyn. She lived to be 103 years old with her beautiful self. And he was a part of something special. And we're going to get into it right now. We're going to get into it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, fair use. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. Okay. Everything that we're doing is for learning purposes only. We will attach the disclaimer to the description. Okay. This is for learning purposes only, not to defame anybody or attack any one group. This is for learning purposes only. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Frank Manning. Get to know Mr. Frank Manning, Lindy Hopper extraordinaire.
A sharp bite. Sassy, girl, sassy. Get feminine. Don't just go. All dances come from the music. Whatever music is being played, that's the way that you try to dance. Draco. When you Lindy hopping, you swinging, honey. I mean, you swinging, baby.
Something about cash. Yeah. He was spinning that track. And when he's near, he spins like a sailor. Tell me, could that boy do something right?
I'm a Lindy Hopper, darling, and I swing.
My cell phone bill kept going up. I started looking around.
Now, when y'all watching this, right, I need y'all to pay close attention because this Lindy Hop is it has so many integral parts to it and so many connections to what we know and what's being done today that it is just unbelievable. It is just unbelievable. In so many similarities, how it started, where it was going down at. Just pay attention because this is important and this is a good learning piece of information for everybody out there that's just not in the know. So we just totally stripped the breakers of their culture and what they had on. So we all know where that came from. Clothing. Let's see what's going on with this dance.
What are our other options? With consumer cellular, I'm saving.
Frankie Manning started swinging back when swing music was born in the early 1930s.
New York was a very lively town back then. There were clubs on practically every corner, in Harlem particularly. So the people from downtown would come uptown to be entertained by some of the best entertainers in the world.
Frankie was raised in Harlem by a single mother. He learned to dance in the great Harlem ballrooms, the Alhambra, the Renaissance, and the best of them all, the Savoy.
When I walked into the Savoy Ballroom and I saw those dancers up there, I said, I can't dance. Because those guys at the Savoy Ballroom was cutting the rug, Jim. You know, I mean, they were really swinging up there.
The crowd there was wild about a new dance, the Lindy Hop. A variation on the Charleston, the Lindy was named in honor of Charles Lindbergh's hop, across the Atlantic in 19... A variation on the Charleston, the Lindy was named in honor of Charles Lindbergh's hop across the Atlantic in 1927. At the Savoy, it was danced to the sounds of first-class bands.
That music just made you feel like you wanted to move with it, you know.
The first time I went there, I thought it was in heaven. The doors opened and the music was blessing.
Ruthie Rheingold was a teenager when she started going to the Savoy in the early 1930s. It was the first major club in Harlem to allow blacks and whites on the same dance floor.
It was a
As I told y'all, that the only people we was around and we were partying with was white folks. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not saying that it wasn't anybody else around, but the ones that are going to be able to tell this history and tell it the right way is when Caucasian history is attached to it. Because you're not going to be able to rewrite that. Period.
great place. You know, for a quarter, you had a night's pleasure. I don't have to tell you about the music. And
Well, tell me about the music.
oh my God, how can you tell about music? Mainly Count Basie. There were times I was so tired, I thought, oh my God, I have to go home. And then another song would come out. I'd say, oh, I love that song. And I was back on the floor again.
The dancers doing the latest steps and the fanciest footwork danced at the north end of the ballroom, known as Cat's Corner. Dancers like Frankie, who wanted to improve their skills, watched the moves closely.
We were learning like that by stealing from the more advanced dancers.
By the time he turned 20, Frankie was spending much of his time at the Savoy. He had dropped out of high school a few years earlier.
I didn't really have an incentive. I don't think they encouraged any of the African Americans at that time to, to be any real professional people. I didn't know what I wanted to be.
At 18, Frankie had fathered a baby boy, but he admits he wasn't ready for the responsibility.
I don't think I was much of a father because I didn't see him that much. I would see him occasionally, but I didn't really raise him. His mother did.
Frankie Manning was looking for direction on the dance floor of the Savoy Ballroom. He found it when he met a father figure of his own, Herbert Whitey White.
Everybody knew Whitey, because he had a white streak in his hair, and we would always see him walk around the ballroom, and we knew why.
He said he had a good eye for talent. That was just a great, great honor to be one of his dancers.
If, we see him walking by or something like that, we'd try to put on something a little extra, to see if he would notice.
It took a few months, but Whitey did notice the lanky teenager with quick feet and a huge smile.
He stopped and called me over, and he said, I think you got the makings of a pretty good dancer. How would you like to meet some of the better dancers on the other side?
Frankie got Whitey's blessing to join the best of the best in Cat's Corner, like George Shorty Snowden.
Shorty Snowden was my idol, and anything he did, I tried to imitate. He was about 5'2", and he had a partner, Big B, they called her. And she was about 6'2", so she loomed over him, She would pick Shorty up on her back and walk off the floor with him. We call it a lift. It was humorous seeing this little guy on the back of this big girl kicking his feet up and down.
Within weeks, Frankie could mimic George's steps. Soon, he was inventing moves of his own.
sometimes you just hear a riff in music, you know, like something might say, "Jum, bum, 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 bum," and you just try to, okay, what does that sound like? Jum, bum, 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 bum. And that music is saying to you, hey, do this, man.
Did you think of yourself as a choreographer?
Oh, no. No, I don't think of myself as a choreographer or anything like that. I just danced.
Inspired by Shorty George's famous lift, Frankie approached a dance partner with an idea.
I want to pick you up on my back, and I want you to roll over my back. I want it to be like a step, a continuous movement, where you get on the back and you keep rolling and come down in front of me.
It was the first of many aerial moves. He called them air steps that would become Frankie's trademark. Frankie and the other young dancers from Cat's Corner, now known as Whitey's Lindy Hoppers or Whitey's Hoppin' Maniacs, started getting gigs up and down the Eastern Seaboard and at the hottest venues back home.
This program is coming to you from the Cotton Club in Harlem, New York City. Now, Cab Calloway, the Prince of Idaho, will entertain you with some hotshot razzmatazz.
How big a deal was it to dance at the Cotton Club?
Whoa, are you kidding? Only the best in the entertainment world worked at the Cotton Club. Cab Calloway, Duke Ellington, and to work with these people in the same show with them. Oh, man.
The bands may have had the big names, but it was the dancers with their lightning-fast acrobatic style that electrified audiences wherever they went.
Wild, fantastic, girls being thrown everywhere. It was just the most exciting thing that I had ever seen.
Frankie's son, Chaz Young, first saw his father perform when Chaz was a child.
My dad was very strong, and he had them girls sailing further than the other fella. So that's what I remember very, very well.
But Chaz has few memories from that era of Frankie off the stage.
I didn't get a chance to see him as often as I would have liked to, but I always knew when he was in town, and I would go see the show, of course, and I'll go backstage and hang out backstage and with them. They stayed on the road a lot because they were that good. Yes, I mean, I did miss him, but I knew what he was doing.
Even as Frankie became a celebrity uptown, there were still doors that were closed to him and the other Lindy Hoppers because they were black. He remembers a night in the 1930s when he and a group of dancing buddies went to see a big band show at the Roseland Ballroom in Midtown Manhattan.
When we got down there to go in, the guy wouldn't let us in, you know, so he said, well, you can't come in. And I'm kind of hard skinned, you know, like a tough skin, I should say. And it just rubbed off my back.
On tour, things were worse. Many of the clubs that profited from the group's performances wouldn't let them in as customers. After the Lindy Hoppers did a knockout opening number for Billie Holiday and Count Basie Orchestra at a Boston hotel, they sat down to watch the rest of the show.
One of the waiters came over and told us we couldn't sit there, you know. So we went on back to our room.
When they told Holiday what had happened, she went and talked to the hotel management.
She said, well, if these kids can't come out and hear me sing, then I'm not going to sing anymore. Eventually, the management said, well, okay, we'll set up a table for them to sit at, you know. Ordinarily, you know, we might not have gone out like every show to hear us sing. But since they didn't want us out there, we said, well, we're going to be there. So we went out every night and just sat at the table and listened to us sing.
Sometimes when you think it's on, baby, it has turned off and gone.
Frankie was determined to push past the bigotry. He made white friends, including a couple of spectacular dancers he met at Cat's Corner at the Savoy, Harry Rosenberg and Ruthie Rheingold.
Whitey approached us and asked would we like to dance, be one of his dancers, and of course that was the greatest honor. What could be better? And especially that we were white.
These two Jewish kids from the Bronx were the only white couple ever to dance in the premier swing group in Harlem.
How good a dancer were you?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I had to be one of Whitey's.
The nightclub audiences, mostly white, were sometimes taken aback that Harry and Ruthie were part of the troupe.
While we were there,
White people were the first guests to the culture. Not Jamaicans, not Hispanics. White people were the first guests to the culture.
dancing, we could hear the people saying, "They're white, they're white." They were screaming. I don't know because we were good or because we were white, but they were in shock.
The official photos and film footage of Whitey's Lindy Hoppers don't include Harry and Ruthie. Blacks and whites dancing in the same group was just too controversial.
What did your parents think that you were going to?
My father didn't know. Oh my God. My mother was very unhappy. Very unhappy.
But to the dancers in Whitey's Lindy Hoppers,
you see how honest she was? That's the honesty you can't get about this so-called hip-hop situation. Yeah, see how she just came out and said, "Look, my dad ain't know. Because you know what he's going to do." And my mom, very unhappy because she knew that if the dad found out, he was going to know that she knew about it. That she was down there hanging out with the Morenos.
Ruthie and Frankie say, race just wasn't an issue.
We didn't know black and white. We knew dancing. So we didn't look at somebody and say, "Oh, that's a person that is a different color than you." We just looked at his feet, say, "Can you move them feet?"
That's right.
And as long as
That's
you
right.
could move your feet, color didn't
Didn't
matter.
matter.
Let me tell you something. This young lady was a swinger, Jim. She could dance. I'll tell you. She could dance.
I loved it.
She used to have the little twist.
Right.
Ruthie says Frankie was the real superstar.
Of all of us, he was the best. Very graceful, very good, wonderful smile, great dancer, great. And choreographer. Very talented guy.
Frankie Manning's talents took him from Harlem to the great cities of Europe.
Being in Paris for the first time, my very first European trip, and I'm landing in Paris at the Moulin Rouge.
The Lindy Hop from New York to Paris. And now here the dancer is going to the Moulin Rouge. He can't deal with this truth stuff. Told you. Stop playing around. Just don't listen.
That was fantastic, man.
There was one stop for entertainers even bigger than Paris, Hollywood. Frankie and his fellow Lindy Hoppers danced in major motion pictures like Hot Chocolate.
Wow.
And Hell's a Poppin'. Released in 1941, Hell's a Poppin' featured a 2.5-minute dance sequence choreographed by Frankie Manning.
I ain't mistaken. Here comes something now.
I wanted it to really be a swinging thing, and I wanted everybody to know what they were doing and when they were supposed to do it. They gave us a certain amount of space to dance because the cameras have to be set up at different spots. It was pretty hard, you know, like trying to stay in a small space, and we were just moving all over the place. You know? The routines were pretty tough, but because all of them had, you know, difficult air steps and or comedy air steps. Anne was like a cat. Her feet would be flying all over, but when she lands, she would like, you know, like solid. We practiced so often till we got an opportunity to actually communicate with each other without speaking, just with body movements or what we were doing.
It's just one of the most exciting routines that I've ever seen in my life. When he would grab the girl and pull the girl toward him, and she's up in the air, and he catches her on the shoulder, that was a showstopper as far as I'm concerned, because you think that she is going to go flying past him, but she lands on his shoulder. That's a spectacular stunt, and it's called the snatch.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Frankie's son Chaz was just now.
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. And we talking about spinning on the floor?
9 years old when Hell's a Poppin' came out, but seeing his dad on the big screen sparked his own interest in dance.
So I just started to practice when I wasn't in class, because I wanted to be good. I wanted to be very good.
Swing dancing great Norma Miller, one of Frankie's closest friends, hired Chaz as a teenager to be in her dance troupe. He says he performed best when his father was in the audience.
I just wanted to tear up the stage. I wanted to be super good. I said to myself, well, this show is for you, Dad.
By the time Chaz's career took off, Frankie was dancing less. He'd been drafted into the U.S. Army in 1943, the height of World War II. He fought in the jungles of New Guinea.
I met a lot of other guys over there that, you know, we became friends. And I saw some of them, you know, like dying right alongside of me. And well, sometimes now I think about that, and I don't want to think about it.
After the war, Frankie danced for a few more years. But by the 1950s, the era of swing was fading. Lindy hopping was no longer a way to make a living. Frankie got a job at the post office. He got married and had a daughter and another son. Eventually, he divorced. He stayed with the post office for 30 years. An ordinary life, Frankie says, and a good one. He didn't tell his colleagues much about his years as an entertainer.
They knew that I had been a show business, but I didn't expound on it. I didn't say, oh, yeah, I did this, I did that.
So Frankie's dancing life remained in the past until the late 80s, when something unexpected happened. Swing dancing started coming back in style. Suddenly, young people wanted to learn how to Lindy hop. Out of nowhere, Frankie got a call.
Yep. Y'all see the transition? See the transition? Now, if somebody came along and this is all they saw, they would think that this group created the Lindy Hoppers. This is the evolution. The evolution.
from a young swing enthusiast, hoping for a lesson from a master.
She came on the phone and said, well, are you Frankie Manning, the dancer? And I said, no, I'm Frankie Manning, the postal worker. So she said, but you used to dance, didn't you? So I said, yeah, I used to dance, but I don't dance anymore.
But Erin Stevens was persistent. She persuaded Frankie to teach her some Lindy moves. He taught her well. The word spread. Broadway producers decided to join in the swing revival with a new show called Black and Blue. They invited Frankie Manning to be a choreographer. The show was a smash, and Frankie won a Tony Award.
Oh, it was fantastic. That was one of the highlights of my life.
New fans around the country started organizing lavish parties for Frankie's birthdays.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
In 1999, they celebrated his 85th in the ballroom that had turned Frankie and his friends away so many years before, the Roseland.
The management made a little speech saying that we're sorry about what happened, like back in those days.
We wish we could rewrite history at that time, but we cannot. If we had the time to rewrite history, you wouldn't have been in our dance floor in 1936. We could have done it that way. Tonight, on this occasion, a significant birthday of yours, we are commemorating the enormous contributions that you have made to dance and are placing your shoes in the display alongside those of other greats like Fred Astaire, Savion Glover, Gregory Hines.
The culture is right under your nose, and you don't know who FBA is? There won't be anybody around me that don't know who FBA is. Yeah, it just can't, man. You just can't. It's so embarrassing, to be honest with you, man. It's so embarrassing. Like, I mean, seriously, it's past stupidity. It's like, it's to the point where it's like embarrassing, where you just gotta be like, damn, this is ignorance on another plane. The ignorance where you just don't know.
I said, oh, wow.
The demand for Frankie Manning's swing dance workshops grew.
All right.
I want them to feel the music as much as I feel it, And I mean, if they feel it half as much, then I'm satisfied.
For the past 20 years, Frankie had regular gigs teaching all over Europe.
Place the left hand here, and then you're going to
shake.
mess
around.
And Asia.
Shake it up now.
A lot of times they don't understand me. I don't understand them as far as speaking is concerned, but they can understand when my feet move and say, oh, that? Yeah, I can do that.
As much as they loved his teaching, the students seemed to get the biggest thrill from watching Frankie dance, especially to his favorite song, Count Basie's Shiny Stockings.
It's just a groovy, swinging song, baby. Dun, 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 dun.
After a lifetime of dancing with some of the most talented, glamorous women in the business, Frankie's favorite partner in later years was a very different sort.
Chaz is just a wonderful person, and it just happens to be my son.
I was a kid about 3:30. My daddy said, son, come here to me.
Frankie worked to make up for the time he missed when Chaz was a boy. They traveled the world together, dancing side by side.
It's a thrill. It's such a wonderful time when him and I are on stage together doing Taint What You Do the way that you do it. And I just glance over at him and he'd be just wailing. And it just makes me feel so good that he's just still having such a wonderful time dancing.
Everyone says the same thing. He's some kind of a miracle worker. This thing, this longevity, no one ever dreamed of anything like this. I'm glad I can stand up sometimes and he's dancing.
Come on, spread it out. I know all you women are anxious.
The women all lined up to dance with Frankie. On his 80th birthday, he danced with 80 women. On his 85th, with 85.
They had a whole group of young girls, and he would dance with each one for maybe 10 or 20 seconds. And as one left, another one would come in and just kept going. It was endless. I said to myself, he's got to drop dead any minute.
Incredible.
He thought that I would join the young girls and then he could dance with me. He didn't imagine that anyone 85 years old wasn't still doing the Lindy Hop.
The idea of slowing down just never interested Frankie very much.
I've had a hip replacement, yeah, and I had knee surgery. So we won't expound on all the things that's wrong with me.
If I said to you that he does at least maybe 40 weekends a year at his age, that is phenomenal. He's still in demand.
Just before this film was completed, Frankie caught pneumonia. He died as thousands of fans were preparing to gather in New York for his 95th birthday. After a career on the dance floor spanning 8 decades, Frankie Manning was swinging till the end.
I'll stop dancing when my feet don't move anymore. And then I might just sit in a chair and try to do that. If you want to live to be a long time, Lindy Hop. Because I'm still doing it, man.
Let me tell y'all something. Rest in peace, Frankie Manning. But he has a story that we're going to do probably tomorrow on rent parties. You hear what was going on in those rent parties. All you're going to be thinking about is house party with Kid and Play. Kool Herc and Afrika Bambaataa, they ain't create nothing. You got parties that's going on with this Lindy Hop inside of it. That's just, it's just going down in there. It's more to the Lindy Hop, okay, that you see at the Cotton Club and at the Savoy and all of that. There's another part of the Lindy Hop that goes down in the rent parties. Okay. Yeah. It goes down in there. And it's battles between the dancers and the musicians. It's just off the hook in there. And it sounds like it was something that was going on all night long. And I'm just telling you that there is no creation coming from anybody else other than FBA culture. Because this Lindy Hop goes into something else that works well. And there's footprints and fingerprints everywhere. Everywhere. That is just strictly FBA culture evolving. Just spectacular. But it takes another FBA gentleman from the South to bring it all together. Ladies and gentlemen, I declare to you today that these two cats ain't create nothing but drama. That's all they created was drama. They did not, if you're attaching your giddy up to this, you ain't nothing but a guest. Nothing but a guest. I declare that today. I stand by it. Period. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thumb up this video. Get it in the algorithm. Leave your comments down below on what you think about Afrika Bambaataa going downtown. What do you think about Bambaataa going downtown without Kool DJ? Claiming that MCing is one of the elements. What do you think about that Mud Club? What do you think about it? What do you think about these parties they was already having before any party was even thought about on Sedgwick Avenue? They weren't even thought about. What do you think about James Brown recording a whole live album in the Apollo Theater when Afrika Bambaataa was 9 and Kool Herc was maybe 11? Or one was 9 and the other one was 5 years old. I think Bambaataa was 5 years old. No, let me correction. Bambaataa was 5 years old. Kool Herc was 7 years old and wasn't even in the country yet. And James Brown was performing in Harlem and recording his album live. So by the time these dudes even thought about it, people had like 15, 20 years of James Brown already and breakbeats. How the hell you create something? Ladies and gentlemen, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thumb up this video and share it with somebody because we coming with something else. Oops upside your head. I said oops upside your head. Oops upside your head. I said oops upside your head. Stop playing with us. Thumb up this video, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you on the next episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. Rest in peace, Frankie Manning. Miss Alice Barker. Thank you for your contribution because I know where it goes. We'll see you on the next episode of the Scoreboard Keepers. I'm your host, the Ref. Peace.